Hey, my name is Devin, and I'm making this video to tell everybody pretty much what I think about scene, or I guess emo kids, you could call them. There's a lot that I have to say about them because they're a really big part of the music scene here in Missouri. And I just want to start off by saying that scene kids, comment this video, send the hate. I don't care because I don't give a single shit about any of you. You're all stupid. So, say what you will, it's not gonna affect me. But I'd like to start off by saying that, you are not original. You look like every other scene kid, and I think it really needs to die out. Everybody that's a scene kid just copies another scene kid. It's like, okay, you look exactly like the other 50 guys in this room. I don't know what happened to the individuality. And the other thing is their home music. Their perception of music is way off. It's like, okay, you wear that band T-shirt, but yet you don't know a single song by the band. It's kind of like, okay, for example, one time I was at the mall and there was a guy wearing a Norma Jean T-shirt, and yes, I do like Norma Jean. I asked him. I said, "Oh, you like Norma Jean, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah." I was like, "What's your favorite song?" And he goes, "Oh, I like their old stuff." I go, "Yeah, I do too, but what's your favorite song?" And he goes, "Oh, I can't remember the name of any of them." And I was like, "Oh, well, my two favorites are Disconnect Die and Bay Network." And he just walked away. He couldn't tell me the name of a song. If he liked them enough to be wearing the shirt, he should at least be able to tell me one song. Am I right? The other thing is, I love going to concerts and going nuts for bands and, stuff like that. But, I mean, there's a limit. If you're gonna go to a show, go to the show because you appreciate the music and the band. Don't go to the show because you want to show off your new shirt or your new haircut that just looks like everybody else's. It's not a fashion show. Music is something you should live and breathe, not something you should use to support your fashion statement. It's not a fashion show, and it shouldn't be. And on the topic of music again, I'm sick and tired of the subgenres. The, there's so many different genres now. It's like something doesn't have to be deathcore or, whatever they call it. It's like, okay, it has breakdowns. Why do you have to throw a core on the end of it? There were songs with breakdowns long before you were born, and they didn't have core on the end of them. It's like deathcore. Okay, it has breakdowns and it spawned from death metal and hardcore, but you don't have to label a band deathcore or metalcore just because they have breakdowns. I mean, stop with the subgenre. It's stupid. And the other thing is, like, I'm sick and tired of the scene kids that think that if the band doesn't have breakdowns that they're not good. Whereas, like, okay, say Whitechapel. Whitechapel's cool and all, but I'm sorry, bands like Cattle Decapitation and The Faceless rape Whitechapel bad. Because Cattle Decapitation and The Faceless actually continue to progress. They keep putting their feet forward and making their music more technical and more involved, whereas bands like Whitechapel and Suicide Silence and Emmure and all them, they all sound the same. They don't, there's no, they all use the same song structure and everything. It's like, actually put your music forward and actually try to better yourselves and stop making albums that sound the same as everybody else's. And, it's like, okay, they don't have a breakdown, so what? It doesn't mean it's not good. It's like saying, I used to love Impending Doom, for example. Nailed Dead Resin was gold. Nailed Dead Resin was amazing. But then the Serpent Servant came out. And unfortunately, the Serpent Servant sounds just like everything else out there. It's really like generic. You can predict when the breakdowns are coming. And it's like, I was watching the video for their song More Than Conquerors today, and there was a kid in the comments that was like, this is the best death metal around. Well, as much as I don't like putting subgenres in music, I can't really say that Impending Doom is death metal because they don't even really come in the same spectrum as death metal. I would just put them in straight up metal at this point. It's just because you growl, it doesn't make you death metal. Like, if you want true, like death metal that was around before everybody else, kind of like the pioneers, try like Carcass and, like Obituary. And even Cannibal Corpse, they came around a long time after Obituary and Carcass, but they still stayed to the more original style of death metal instead of spinning off and trying to be original, even though a lot of bands that try to be original aren't at this point, because there's so many just knockoff bands that sound just like, Job for a Cowboy, or like I said, Suicide Silence. And another thing I want to touch on with Scene Kids is, guys, you're pretty much fags. I don't see how you can wear pants that are that tight and still have a pair of testicles. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like, okay, so you wear skinny jeans and you have the hair flipped to one side and you take your pictures at an angle. Okay, you're cool. And you wear band t-shirts for bands you've never heard. And you smoke your cigarettes and you look like you're 12. Okay? It's just stupid. And girls, oh my god, scene girls are probably the worst. Because most scene girls are really pretty. I mean, drop dead gorgeous. I won't lie. The scene chicks are usually really hot. Okay, but the thing is they're all bitches. I seriously have only met 2 nice scene chicks in the whole time I've been around the music scene, which is 5-6 years. So it's just, this whole scene thing really needs to just stop and die out, because at this point I want to go on just a complete eradication of everything scene and be like, okay, scene doesn't exist anymore, and I think the world would be a better place because of that. Anyway, I'll probably have more rants in the future, but for now, I'm done. So, yeah, like I said, Scene Kids, send your hate mail if you want. It's not going to change my mind. It's not going to change the way I think about you. Stop being douchebags, and maybe that'll change the way I think about you. So, later.